Today we are exploring the mighty Ongar Hill, so come on, let's go! Right, so episode 1 is the mighty Ongar Hill, which you can see in the distance towering above the sea wall. Well, if you look very closely, you can see it towering above the sea wall. Ongar Hill is at the start point for us because it's a reference in the Bomber Command diaries in the battle against the Scharnhorst and the Gneisenau. How come that's not Ongar Hill is mentioned in those diaries? We'll tell you as we go along in our various episodes. There's some tragedy, some funny, some everything in most of these. We've uncovered some fantastic stories. Stay with us and join us on our massive hike.
Previously, we came down here and Andy made a joke about this giant hogweed. So before we continue, let's take a little look at Andy's joke.
But we come across this forest of giant hogweed and it's absolutely monstrous things. It's a good thing for getting rashes on small children, so if you want to frighten the kids, it's a good idea to bring them here for the weekend. I've googled it since, and it's not a good place to bring your kids because this can bring some actually quite nasty blisters and you might need some medical treatment because of it. So just because you hear something on this video, please check out your own facts. We've just done our 500-metre walk all down the base of the old sea wall, and we're now at this precipice which we're looking up at the observation tower of Ongar Hill Battery. That is a coastal gun battery, not an old discard battery. So we're now faced with this massive walk up this hill, which maybe should have brought me walking poles with, but here we go. It's akin to the Devil's Staircase, this one. So bear with us, we might get a bit of a puff on.
Ongar Hill was built in 1940 during the anti-invasion preparations of World War II. It was designed to defend the port of Kings Lynn, which was very busy during the war. It was equipped with 2 6-inch guns, searchlights and machine gun posts, and it also had an accommodation block. It was first home to the Royal Artillery 322 Coastal Battery, and in its prime was home to over 300 people. They stayed until 1942 when they moved to Northumberland. In 1942, it was used by the Royal Mechanical and Electrical Engineers to store heavy recovery vehicles coming from a village called Setchi, just a few miles away. In 1944, the Remy moved down south for what we believe is the build-up for D-Day. At this point, Ongar Hill became a satellite camp for the prisoner of war camp known as Camp 90, located at Friday Bridge near Wisbeach, 21 miles away. They knew Ongar Hill as Greenlands or Greenland Farm, and German and Italian prisoners of war would have been seen picking potatoes around the fields of Clenchwarton and Terrington. Ongar Hill has been deserted since 1947. So, let's take our first look inside. Through the triangular door.
Right, you can see the remnants of what would be the second floor, and there'd be another one above that, which would be the third floor, hence it's a third-storey observation tower. But yeah, good bit of brickwork, still standing.
One of the interesting things, and the conversation piece we're having, is about electricity or water, because it doesn't look as if they had either, although there is a 4-inch hole up top which suggests maybe that there was a 4-inch pipe coming through. We don't know. We are also discussing the generators, because for electric down here they would have needed portable generators and all the bits of kit that go with it. Beautiful building. Still here after 90 years, is it 80, 90 years old? What a shame people come in and spoil it.
So this is the blockhouse adjacent to the main tower. You can see from the loopholes in it, they're pointing inland. So what are they actually protecting from?
Germans.
Is it Germans or is it locals? Because the main guns are pointing out to the marsh.
In 1940, when they set up, there was a left-hand gun and a right-hand gun, and the right-hand gun was situated just up here, obviously to the right of the tower. Whilst it's all barbed wired and fenced off, we can't get in, but the left-hand gun would have been in here. I'm just looking above the barbed wire. There's no traces of a gun here anymore, but the left-hand gun was situated down in what is now a gully. So around about 100 metres away from the observation tower, we see a building down here. And Andy and myself think this is a mess building or a messing building.
Stores.
Storage room, because it's not very big. There's no blast wall, so it doesn't shout ammunition, but it's quite small. Who knows, it might have even been the privy. So about 200 metres down, that brings us to the old accommodation block. There are plenty of signs that a large building was here.
Could have been tents as well.
And yeah, tents and 12 by 12s could have been here. This old concrete always reminds me of Perry tracks.
And another pad. And another pad. And bricks. Engineering bricks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Parade square, Andy. We found a parade square. Imagine hobnail boots on that.
Yeah. This is definitely connected with it.
Yeah, definitely.
So however the accommodation was, this is, we know it's here. It's just under the surface. Looks like engineering bricks because they're not frost damaged. So this is where the people who manned the tower lived for 3 years.
But this is the view from the accommodation block of the tower and all the blockhouses.
So this is an outer blockhouse defensive position for the big tower. Obviously part of out here we would expect to see barbed wire and some poles, not Polish people, but poles to stop any aircraft landing behind or parachutists or gliders attack. So the landscape, although it looks very flat now, would have been very flat then, to be honest, but with some poles. Owl pellets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting thing.
Is it owl?
Owls. They do pellets.
Now, on the windowsill here, you can see a pellet, which is an owl pellet, and it's big enough to be a big owl, so it's not a little owl.
Signs of bats.
Here we are then, inside what we think is a magazine. There's a blast wall to my left, because we're in the far left hand side, so from the far left of me there's a blast wall. We found signs of electricity for light switches, and we found a bracket for some external pipework or some external wiring. Lots of signs of bats with broken wings and pigeons, of course. We can see that this brickwork here has been added slightly later on. So somewhere in that 3-year period, say, that it was converted from an ordinary blockhouse to something else, which we think is a magazine, but we're not sure.
Hello, will you no be having a sale?
There's less signs of inhabitants here.
Now this is a straight blockhouse,
Yep.
and that could have been attached to that.
Yep.
What do we reckon?
During the research, I saw on the internet that they still had all the marks where the concrete was moulded.
Yeah. So this could have been the flue.
Yeah, that is the flue.
So we know those are there for the chimneys.
Yeah.
And this is concrete on top of corrugated iron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we know the construction on this is corrugated iron, and these are steel reinforcements.
The water is damaging this. You can see the water
Yeah.
dripping through and damaging that. No sign of bats in this one.
No.
Again, this is definitely just a major blockhouse, isn't it?
No, you've got your hooks.
Yeah. Hook your coat on.
Yeah.
Hour shift looking at that hole.
Whoa! Whoa! Slippy there.
That's the point. If you ever come out to these places, you got to remember that you may not get a mobile phone signal, and you are definitely in helicopter country, because you will need a helicopter to get you out of here.
So here we are now on top of the sea wall, and looking out before us, should be seeing in the 1946 map the marsh, but as you can see now, it's a bean field, and Norfolk has grown a complete bean field at this part of the wash. So this is the seawall that was in 1946, and out there was the marsh that was almost certain death. Sand pits, quicksands, everything else. But as a bean field, there's a machine gunner in one of the outposting boxes. It would have been a turkey shoot, to be honest. So our next episode, we're going to go beyond the marsh, beyond the new sea wall, and we're going to bring in the story of H for Harry.
If you enjoyed the video and you've liked some of Andy's jokes, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll bring you more of the place where we live, the beautiful Norfolk countryside. Find out more on our website, www.norfolk-mountains.co.uk.
You can also track us down on our Facebook page, Norfolk Mountains.
Join us in part 2, where we'll be bringing you a very interesting story of a bomber that crashed here during the war, and the research went from 1 bomber to 2. So look out for that in our next episode.
Need to say a quick word of thanks for my elder brother Richard for helping our channel. He's done all the music for us.
Well done, Rich.
On this, so that's his lockdown sorted. So thanks very much. Well, that was a blooming good day out, that, Ian. Yeah. We're going to the pub.
We can't. We're in lockdown. Norfolk.
Lockdown.
Norfolk is
Right.
here too.
Norfolk's been locked down for the last 300 years.